Human beings have always feared the dark. Not because darkness itself is dangerous, but because in the dark, we don't know what's looking back at us. Somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, there is a scar in the earth so deep, sunlight has never touched its bottom. Not once. Not in thousands. Or even millions of years. The Mariana Trench. Nearly 7 miles beneath the surface. A place so deep that if Mount Everest were dropped into it, the peak would still disappear beneath more than a mile of water. The pressure down there is strong enough to crush steel. Strong enough to destroy submarines. Strong enough to collapse the human body almost instantly. And yet, something still lives there. That may be the most terrifying part of all. Because humanity has explored the surface of Mars in greater detail than the bottom of our own oceans. More than 80% of the deep sea has never been directly observed. Which means right now, beneath the waves, there may be entire ecosystems, completely beyond human understanding. And the human mind has always feared one thing more than monsters: the unknown. If you think you're brave enough to watch this entire video, comment 1. But if you're already starting to feel uncomfortable, comment 0. Because the deeper we go, the less reality starts to make sense. The ocean doesn't become dark all at once. It kills light slowly. At first, sunlight still reaches through the water. Fish swim in schools. Coral reefs explode with color. Everything still feels familiar. Safe. But as you descend, red disappears first. Then orange. Then yellow. Until eventually, the entire ocean becomes blue-black emptiness. At around 3,000 feet, sunlight completely vanishes. There is no sunrise. No sunset. No horizon. No direction. Only darkness. Endless darkness. And this is where the human brain begins to panic. Because our minds were never designed for environments like this. Humans rely on sight for survival. We need distance, shape, orientation. We need to know what's around us. But in the deep ocean, all of that is taken away. Divers who have experienced extreme depths often describe the same feeling. Not fear of drowning. Not fear of pressure. But fear of being surrounded by something they cannot see. And then, the lights appear. On land, light represents safety, hope, warmth. But deep below the ocean, light often means death. A tiny glowing blue dot drifts through the darkness. Slowly, almost hypnotically, a smaller creature moves toward it. Closer. Closer. And then, it disappears. No sound. No struggle. Just darkness again. The black dragonfish. A creature that looks less like an animal, and more like something from a nightmare. Its skin absorbs almost all visible light. Its teeth are so large. Its mouth cannot fully close. And the glowing lure hanging in front of its face isn't there to guide it. It's there to attract victims. That's what makes the deep sea so disturbing. Evolution down there does not care about beauty. Only efficiency. Only survival. Then there's the anglerfish. A swollen body. Rows of needle-like teeth. A face so unnatural. It triggers fear almost instantly. Because in total darkness, life no longer evolves to be recognizable. It evolves to function. And sometimes, function becomes horrifying. But there are things even more terrifying than seeing a monster. Hearing something, without knowing what made it. In 1997, scientists detected an enormous sound deep in the Pacific Ocean. It was so powerful. Underwater microphones thousands of miles apart picked it up. The sound became known as the Bloop. At first, researchers believed it might have been ice cracking. But the sound was too massive, too deep, too unnatural. For years, nobody knew exactly what caused it. And that uncertainty terrified people. Because the human imagination is dangerous. When we lack information, our brains automatically create the worst possible explanation. Maybe it was geological. Maybe biological. Maybe something we still don't understand. And that's what made it so frightening. Not the sound itself, but the realization that the ocean is large enough to hide things humanity may never fully discover. Some creatures are powerful enough to descend directly into the abyss. Sperm whales, nearly 60 feet long, over 50 tons of muscle, bone, and intelligence. Every dive pushes them thousands of feet below the surface, into pressure capable of crushing most living things. Their lungs collapse. Their heart rate slows dramatically. Blood flow shifts toward the brain. And then, the clicking begins. Click. 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 One of the loudest biological sounds on Earth. A living sonar system piercing through total darkness. And somewhere below, something answers back. No human has ever fully witnessed a battle between a sperm whale and a giant squid in the wild. All we have are clues. Circular scars carved into whale skin. Torn tentacles. Half-devoured squid floating to the surface. Which means that right now, miles beneath the ocean, massive creatures are still fighting in complete darkness. Completely unseen. Completely unknown. And somehow, that may be more terrifying than actually seeing them. If you're still watching, comment 1. But if you've started imagining something moving beneath you in dark water, comment 0. Because the ocean's greatest weapon isn't what it shows you, it's what it hides. Whenever deep-sea animals are brought to the surface, people often react the same way. Disgust. Fear. Unease. Eyes too large for their skulls. Transparent flesh. Teeth longer than their jaws. Bodies that seem completely alien. The disturbing part isn't just how they look. It's that they break every pattern the human brain expects from life. We are biologically programmed to recognize faces, movement, symmetry, familiar anatomy. But the deep ocean creates creatures that seem to ignore all of it. Some fish have transparent heads. Some have stomachs larger than their bodies. Some glow internally. Some survive under pressures no human technology can endure for long. And there are still species down there that scientists have never identified. Imagine that. Entire forms of life existing on Earth, while humanity remains completely unaware of them. There's something uniquely disturbing about jellyfish. Not because they're aggressive, but because they are almost completely emotionless. No brain. No heart. No consciousness in the way humans understand it. And yet, they have survived for over 500 million years. A jellyfish drifts silently through the black water. Its tentacles trail behind like invisible wires. A fish brushes against one. Instantly, millions of microscopic stingers fire at once. Venom floods the body. Muscles lock. The prey stops moving. The jellyfish feels no anger, no excitement, no satisfaction. It kills without intention, without awareness. And for many people, that's more unsettling than violence itself. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, pressure exceeds 16,000 pounds per square inch. That's over 1,000 times greater than atmospheric pressure at sea level. A soda can would collapse instantly. Steel bends. Glass shatters. Machines fail. And the human body would not survive exposure. Yet somehow, life continues there. Creatures hunt, feed, reproduce, evolve. Which raises a terrifying possibility. If life can adapt to conditions this extreme on Earth, what else might exist elsewhere in the universe? Perhaps the scariest thought isn't that we are alone, but that life may be capable of becoming things far stranger than we ever imagined. Some deep-sea creatures survive through patience. Others survive through intelligence. The deep-sea octopus has no bones, no armor, no speed advantage. But it possesses extraordinary adaptability. Its arms move slowly across the ocean floor, almost silently. Then suddenly, a burst of motion. A crab disappears beneath a web of limbs. The beak strikes. Venom enters the body. Everything ends quietly. But what truly unsettles scientists is the octopus's behavior as a mother. Some females guard their eggs for years, without eating, without leaving, slowly starving themselves to death, only to die moments after the eggs finally hatch. In the abyss, survival always demands a cost. Humans fear giant things instinctively, because our brains were never designed to process creatures larger than buildings. Blue whales are the largest animals to ever exist on Earth. Longer than a basketball court. Heavier than multiple elephants combined. And beneath the ocean, their voices travel for hundreds of miles. Imagine floating alone in dark water. You cannot see the bottom. You cannot see what's below you. And then, the ocean vibrates. A low-frequency call echoes beneath your body. Slow. Massive. Ancient. That feeling. Realizing something enormous is somewhere underneath you. Awakens one of humanity's oldest fears. The fear of being small. Sharks inspire fear because they are efficient killers. But orcas are frightening for a different reason. They think. They hunt in coordinated groups. Teach strategies to their young. Pass knowledge between generations. Some pods create waves to wash seals off ice floes. Others specialize in hunting whales. Some even know how to flip sharks upside down to paralyze them. This is not instinct alone. It is learned behavior, culture, communication, planning. And that changes everything. Because intelligence in predators creates a very different kind of fear. Humans like to believe we are in control. But the deep ocean reminds us of something cold and uncomfortable. Nature does not need us. The abyss existed millions of years before humanity. And it will continue long after we are gone. There is no morality down there. No good. No evil. Only pressure. Hunger. Darkness. and survival. Maybe that's why the deep sea terrifies people. Because it strips away the illusion that the world was ever built for us. If you're still here, comment 1. But if this video has already made you afraid of deep water, comment 0. Because maybe the most terrifying thing about the ocean is realizing how little humanity truly knows about it. Humanity has built telescopes powerful enough to look billions of light years into space. Yet beneath our own planet, there are still places we barely understand. The Mariana Trench is not just the deepest place on Earth. It is proof that there are still parts of this world beyond human comprehension. Places we cannot fully explore, cannot fully explain, and maybe we're never meant to understand. Right now, far below the surface, in darkness older than human civilization itself, something is still moving. Silent. Unseen. Waiting.